History is a blend of fact, interpretation, and imagination. The stories are inspired by historical accounts, myths, and cultural legacies. While we aim to bring history alive, we encourage you to explore, research, and question these narratives.
Before time etched its stories in stone, before mighty empires clashed for dominance, there were the Pandyas, the ancient rulers of Tamilkam. Their origins are shrouded in legend, whispered in the verses of Sangam poets. At the heart of their realm stood Madurai, a city of wisdom and war, where Tamil culture flourished under royal patronage. The Pandyas were visionaries, crafting a kingdom where poets and warriors walked the same corridors. They built towering temples, their halls echoing with hymns of devotion, while their armies thundered across the land, securing their dominion. Their rule was just, but their ambitions were fierce. Trade routes stretched beyond the seas, bringing gold, silk, and the whispers of foreign lands. Yet, they knew power was fleeting, and only legacy could defy time. From the dawn of civilization, the Pandyas carved their name into eternity. A dynasty had risen. And Madurai, their sacred heart, would beat for centuries to come. The Pandyas had built a kingdom, but in Tamilkam, peace was a fleeting illusion. To the north, the Cholas, ambitious and relentless, sought dominion. To the west, the Cheras, masters of the spice routes, watched with wary eyes. Three great powers, bound by blood and divided by ambition, turned the fertile Tamil land into a battlefield. Wars erupted like raging storms. The Pandyas, fierce in their resolve, clashed with the Cholas for control of the Kaveri Delta, a land of wealth and power. One battle bled into another, swords clashing under the crimson sky. Kingdoms burned, and thrones changed hands, but the war never truly ended. Betrayals were as deadly as arrows, alliances forged in whispers crumbled in the face of greed. Yet, the Pandyas endured. Their banners, emblazoned with the twin fish, flew high over Madurai. They were warriors and rulers, bound by a singular purpose, to etch their legacy into history. The Cholas and Cheras would rise and fall, but the Pandya name would never fade. The war for Tamil supremacy had begun, and the land would never be the same again. War had shaped the Pandyas, but wealth would define them. As swords clashed on land, ships set sail across the seas, carrying the riches of Tamilkam to distant shores. The Pandyas were not just warriors, they were master traders, their influence stretching beyond the Indian Ocean. From Musiri to Korkai, their bustling ports welcomed merchants from Rome, Greece, and Southeast Asia, each bringing gold, wine, and exotic goods in exchange for pearls, spices, and the finest Tamil textiles. Roman coins, stamped with the faces of emperors, flooded Pandya markets. Gold and silver flowed through Madurai, enriching temples and fortifying armies. The twinfish emblem, once a symbol of war, now adorned coins that crossed empires. Every trade route strengthened the Pandya grip over the southern seas, making them the undisputed rulers of commerce. But with great wealth came greater enemies. The Cholas and Cheras watched, envious of the Pandya prosperity. The battlefield would shift once again, this time not for land, but for the lifeblood of an empire, trade. The Pandyas had mastered war. Now, they would master the world. Wealth had filled Pandya coffers, but true power lay in conquest. With ambition burning like an unrelenting flame, Sundara Pandya took the throne, determined to expand his dominion. Under his rule, the Pandyas struck deep into Chola and Chera lands, reclaiming lost territories and shattering their rivals. But it was his successor, Jatvarman Sundara Pandyan I, who would transform the Pandyas from rulers to emperors. Jatvarman was no ordinary king, he was a force of nature. Under his banner, the Pandya army thundered across the Deccan, subjugating kingdoms with ruthless efficiency. The once mighty Cholas bowed before him, their capitals falling like dominoes. Even the Hoysalas, warriors of the western Ghats, trembled as his armies marched upon them. With every conquest, Pandya influence spread like wildfire, cementing their place as the supreme power of South India. Yet, Jatavarman was more than a conqueror, he was a builder of dreams. Temples rose, adorned with gold-leafed vimanas, their towering spires piercing the heavens. Madurai flourished, its streets bustling with poets, traders, and artisans. The Pandyas had not just expanded their empire, they had carved their legacy into the very soul of the land. But power breeds enemies, and shadows gathered on the horizon. The golden age of the Pandyas had reached its peak. Now, the test of survival would begin. The Pandya Empire stood at its zenith, but empires are not built to last without warriors who can defend them. Marvarman Kulsekara Pandyan was such a ruler, a king who wielded both the sword and the scepter with unmatched precision. His rule was not just about maintaining power, it was about asserting Pandya dominance over land and sea. From the Deccan to the Coromandel coast, his armies marched with ruthless efficiency, crushing rebel factions and keeping old rivals, the Cholas and Hoslas, firmly under Pandya rule. But Marvarman Kulsekara's true strength lay beyond the battlefield. He turned his gaze to the Indian Ocean, where trade routes were the lifeblood of the empire. The Pandya navy, already formidable, was transformed into an unstoppable force. Warships, crafted with ironwood and reinforced for high-sea battles, patrolled the waters, ensuring that no foreign power dared challenge Pandya supremacy. Even Sri Lanka, the island kingdom that had long been contested, fell under Pandya influence. The ports of Trincomalee and Jaffna echoed with the sound of Tamil merchants and war drums alike. With every victory, the Pandyas tightened their grip over the southern seas, ensuring that gold and power flowed only to Madurai, the beating heart of their empire. But the tides of fortune are fickle, and even the greatest warriors cannot fight fate forever. A storm was brewing, one that would shake the Pandyas to their core. Empires are not just built on conquests, they are immortalized through culture. While Pandya warriors carved their legacy on the battlefield, their poets, architects, and saints etched it into eternity. Under the Pandyas, Tamil Sangam literature reached its golden age. The courts of Madurai echoed with the verses of Sangam poets, their words capturing the very soul of Tamilkam. Kings were not just rulers, they were patrons of wisdom, their thrones surrounded by scholars who wove history into poetry. But the Pandyas did not stop at words, they built monuments to their faith. Temples soared toward the heavens, their gopurams adorned with intricate sculptures, each stone whispering tales of devotion. The Meenakshi temple of Madurai, its towering vimanas gilded in gold, stood as the heart of Pandya spirituality. Elsewhere, majestic shrines to Shiva and Vishnu flourished, drawing pilgrims from distant lands. These were not just places of worship, they were centers of learning, culture, and power. The Pandyas had created more than an empire, they had nurtured a civilization. But even the strongest foundations trembled before the weight of destiny. A shadow loomed over Tamilkam, and soon, the clash of faiths and swords would drown the voices of poets. For centuries, the Pandyas ruled as the undisputed lords of Tamilkam, their might unchallenged. But power is fleeting, and empires, no matter how glorious, are never invincible. The storm came from the north, the Delhi Sultanate. Their ambitions stretched beyond the Vindhyas, and the wealth of Madurai was too tempting to ignore. In 1311, the feared General Malik Kafur led an invasion that shook the very foundations of South India. The Pandya warriors fought bravely, their swords clashing against the invaders, but the fury of the Sultanate was relentless. Madurai, the sacred city, burned. Temples were plundered, treasures looted, and the grand halls of the Pandyas were left in ruins. The dynasty that had once ruled the waves now stood on the edge of extinction. Yet, this was not just a military conquest, it was the end of an era. With the fall of Madurai, independent Pandya rule crumbled, and in its place rose a foreign dominion, the Madurai Sultanate. Tamilkam, once a land of Sangam poets and warrior kings, had fallen to new masters. But history does not forget its true rulers. The Pandya name would not vanish so easily. Beneath the ashes of defeat, embers of resistance still glowed, waiting for the right moment to reignite. The fall of Madurai had left Tamilkam in darkness, but history is a cycle. What falls must rise again. From the Deccan plains, a new force emerged, determined to reclaim the lost glory of the south. The Vijayanagara Empire, guardians of Sanatana Dharma, turned their gaze toward Madurai, where the Madurai Sultanate ruled with an iron fist. The battle for Tamilkam was far from over. The great Vijayanagara kings, Harihara and Bukka, led campaigns deep into Pandya lands, their armies thundering across the ruins of once mighty cities. In 1371, Kumara Kampana, a fearless prince of Vijayanagara, stormed Madurai. His warriors, fierce and unyielding, crushed the Sultanate, reclaiming the sacred temples and driving the invaders out. The once plundered Meenakshi temple stood tall once more, its sanctum echoing with prayers instead of war cries. But though the Pandyas had been avenged, their rule was never truly restored. Vijayanagara installed gunners in Madurai, ensuring stability but keeping power firmly in their own hands. The Pandyas had survived, but only as a shadow of their former selves. Their name lived on, their legacy unbroken, but Tamilkam had changed forever. Empires rise and fall, but symbols endure. The Pandyas, though dethroned, left behind a legacy that time could not erase. Their banner, marked by the mighty twin fish, still fluttered in the hearts of Tamilkam. It was more than an emblem, it was an identity, a testament to an unbroken lineage of kings who ruled both land and sea. Unlike other dynasties, the Pandyas followed a unique tradition, the twin rule system. Power was shared between two rulers, ensuring stability while preventing internal strife. This dual kingship was rare in Indian history, a symbol of unity in governance. And through it all, the twin fish emblem stood strong, representing prosperity, maritime supremacy, and divine blessings from the oceans that had enriched their kingdom. Even as Vijayanagara's grip tightened, and later, colonial powers changed the land, whispers of the Pandya name remained. Their descendants lived on, their influence found in folklore, traditions, and the very fabric of Tamil culture. The Pandya dynasty had faded, but its spirit was unyielding, etched into the history of South India, unforgotten and immortal. Time moves forward, empires crumble, and kings are forgotten. But the Pandyas were never just rulers, they were architects of a civilization. Their swords may have rusted, their palaces may have turned to dust, but their legacy still breathes in the land they once ruled. Tamilkam still echoes with their spirit. The towering temples of Madurai, the sacred verses of the Sangam poets, the very essence of Tamil identity, all bear the Pandya mark. The twin fish emblem, once flown in battle, now graces cultural symbols and temple flags. The coins they minted, the ports they built, the roads they paved, each stone whispers their story. Even today, archaeologists unearth the remnants of their grandeur, tracing their lost capital, their forgotten wars, their silent victories. Historians continue to piece together the puzzle of a dynasty that defied time itself. The Pandyas may have faded from power, but not from history. For as long as the Meenakshi temple stands, as long as Tamil thrives, and as long as the oceans kiss the shores of their ancient lands, the Pandyas will never die.